And welcome to this edition of the Eagle Sports Update.
Yes.
I'm your host, Al Willman.
I'm Derek Maselli.
And if you can see the screen here, you notice that we're going back to our roots a little bit today. Back to our old format.
Touchback Tuesday, baby.
Or Throwback Tuesday.
Well, yeah, but that's already for Thursday. So
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
we have to make it different.
Fair enough.
Anyway.
It is our last show of the semester, and for Derek and myself, it's the last show ever.
Yes.
Here on the Eagle Sports Update. I'm graduating, and Derek's moving on to hopefully some greener pastures
Hopefully.
here. But we're going to start right away with a little bit of news. EMU women's basketball coach Tori Verdi over the weekend took a job over at UMass. Yeah, he's moving on to bigger and better things, as might be the theme of our show today. But yeah, he's moving on, going to UMass, leaving Eastern Michigan after a pretty solid few years here in Ypsilanti. And with us this week to talk about that is Eastern Echo women's basketball beat writer Zach Badgerhouse. Welcome, Zach.
Hey. How you guys doing? How you guys doing?
I should say welcome back.
Yeah, he's been on before,
Yeah, I've been on. Coach Verdi, he's moving on. He's going out to the East Coast at UMass. And, it was a family thing is what most people are saying. He's from New Britain, Connecticut. So with that being said, he going to UMass was good for him and his kids. And, I even heard that he shed a few tears to the players. He was very emotional about leaving, but it was a bigger step for him and, like I said, his family. And over the course of his years being here, he turned this program around.
Oh, sure.
Definitely fast. I mean, he was 8-22 his first year, 18-14 his following year, which was like the 17th best turnaround in the country at that time. Back-to-back 20-win seasons.
And then back-to-back WNIT bids as well.
Yeah, basically those two as well. He also was able to get Shea Swinney, MAC Freshman of the Year. She was all MAC second team, her and Janae Morton. So he's done, a lot for this Eastern Michigan University's women's program.
Sure.
So that was pretty cool for
I suppose you've already
Eastern.
touched on it, but I guess one question is, so why would a coach leave for what many would consider a sort of lateral movement, the MAC, swapping the MAC for the Atlantic 10, but you touch on it there where you have family connections and other factors at play, other than just, the level of the conference or things like that.
Well, Atlantic 10, some may argue that the Atlantic 10 is a more so tougher conference. I know they're coming off a few losing seasons, so it gives Tori Verdi an opportunity to turn their program around like he did Eastern Michigan University. The Eagles were on the losing side after that 2012 run for the women's team, and so after that he came in and he was able to turn things around. So he could probably just continue to follow that pattern of turning things around for UMass, the Minute Women, as they call themselves. So,
and another thing too that we kind of touched on a little bit before the show, payday. It's a huge factor too.
Sure.
It was making double, I think we said.
Getting paid
Possibly.
twice as much. Getting paid twice as much as you did at a previous school is always the bonus.
Yeah,
obviously.
and it's tough. Nobody really likes to talk about the money or whatever, but I mean, you can assume that usually there's a pay raise of some kind involved with that, and whether or not, and that's a budget issue here at Eastern Michigan. And I think unfortunately, if you can't pay out for the good coaches, you're going to get that high rate of turnover. It happens all over the country, and that's unfortunate. So either you pay up or you have to deal with this. So now the question becomes, do we have to worry about other players potentially transferring and other things? Are there other effects that could happen now, other things that can happen because of this?
Any negative effects will probably be maybe recruits that are coming in. There's supposed to be 6 recruits coming in so far, and most of them are guards, and so that may be a conflict. But with that being said, I mean, you have Shea Swinney, who's going to be a senior next year. Janae Morton, she's going to be a senior. Phyllis Webb's going to be a senior. Sasha Daly, she'll be a junior. So as those are players that are, getting older and on their way out, it gives those players that are coming in opportunity to earn, more minutes down the road if they stay committed here at Eastern Michigan University. So we'll have to see what happens down the road.
Sure. Now, and as with a lot of coaching staff turnovers, the assistants are generally speaking ones that follow the head coach wherever they head, next. Have you heard anything yet as far as, who might be staying from this coaching staff?
In terms of who may be staying, no, I haven't necessarily heard anything outside of the coaches. Now, with that being said, Candace, the assistant, one of the assistants,
Candace Finley,
yeah, she's definitely great fit. She knows the players well. I believe she could be a potential candidate. Hopefully, if his staff doesn't leave with him, I would assume they probably wouldn't. Being unfamiliar with, Massachusetts, but like you said, if there's a pay involved, money talks, the rest.
Ain't that the truth?
Sure. Speaking of Candace Finley, that in my mind, I don't know too much right now about the coaching search that's happening, but you might think that she would be somebody that would be a candidate for the head coaching position. Should be named for it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would assume so, only because of the simple fact that she know, like I said, she knows the players. She knows the system, 2-3 zone, full court pressure, defense, knows the offense, the weave offense where dribble drive. So she knows everything, she being that she's also played the game, for herself. So I think that she'd definitely be a solid candidate for the head coaching job. And I think the players would even accept, her being in that position as well. So
absolutely. And have you, besides, that speculation, have you heard anything about any potential names coming in?
No names as of yet. When I did the story of this past weekend, there were no names being said or anyone being talked about for that position. Being that it happened like so fast. I mean, it happened via Twitter like Friday night, and it was released Saturday morning that head coach Tory Verdi was leaving, so no word yet on who's going to replace him.
Yeah, sure. It's still pretty early in that process. So
yes,
of course.
A lot of moving parts that can go into something like that. And as you mentioned, Shea Sweeney as one of the leaders on the team, Janae Morton, these players are all getting older. Have you heard any reaction from those guys yet? No
reactions yet. They seem like they were disappointed initially. But, that comes with the relationship of, player-coach.
You would imagine that morale might take a hit immediately following a decision like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a difficult decision, a difficult transition for certain.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely was an emotional start at first. Like I said, he shed a few tears to the players about, leaving because, he was so connected with, his players. So as of now, nothing yet. I was at the IPSY Awards last night. Didn't get a chance to talk to any of the players, but you didn't see any like they didn't want to be there, any grief of their coach being gone and moving on to a new institution. So they'll probably be okay with it moving forward. Seeing that some of them are in their last years here at Eastern Michigan. So
sure, they're a tough squad.
They are, and that's one of those things that this is one of the bigger programs that does a better job, I think, in terms of performance under new coaches. But that's about all the time we've got for our show this week, or not the show,
for the first half.
Yeah, for the first half. We're coming back in a little bit. So stay tuned. Thanks, Zach, for coming on.
Oh yeah, you guys, anytime. It was a pleasure to be here.
We will be right back.
Hey.
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
Close enough.
Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, I'm Gordon. I'm here about your job opening. Hi, I'm here about the job. Hi. The word you'll hear most often during a job hunt? No. No. One expert says you can expect 20 rejections before you get your first maybe. So don't be down on yourself. Be sure your resume is flawless, or you'll never see the inside of an interview suite. Be punctual for interviews, but no earlier than 5 minutes. A firm handshake is important. And look the interviewer in the eye.
Don't be a downer, dude.
Speak in positive terms about school and your previous employers. Sit alertly during your interview and show you're human. Smile a little. And follow up every interview with a thank you letter, expressing your interest in the job and why you think you're qualified.
Packers. Viking. Packers. Viking.
Viking.
Red state. Blue state. Vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities,
Live
our families,
united.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer.
Back to the Eagle Sports Update. As you can see, Zach's still
Zach
here.
is back.
Yeah, I'm still
Zach is
here.
back. We were supposed to have another guest come on, Kyle Rhodes,
Yes.
but for the second straight week, unfortunately, he could not make it from the golf team. So we're going to, again, punt and talk about, well, first, Zach, since you were there last night,
Yes.
the IPSI Awards
Yes,
took place.
it's quite a show. Good food, definitely.
Okay.
It was good food. It was great to be there. The atmosphere, bring all the athletes there together as one. To have basically to put on a nice little show. Trent Perry was one of the hosts, and another woman athlete. I can't remember her name at this moment, but she was another host as well. And she won an award, actually. And Trent, one of the key moments for the IPSI Awards was Trent singing as he went down the steps. So that was pretty entertaining. But yeah, it was a pretty entertaining show. Coaches were involved. A lot of coaches were recognized. The men's swimming coach, he was Ginn, I believe his last name is
Peter Lynn.
Peter Lynn, that's what it was. Peter Lynn, he was recognized. Basically, all the coaches were recognized, and obviously all the athletes were recognized as well.
Sure. I know one of the teams that seemed to clean up in many different aspects this season, the gymnastics team.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. The gymnastics team, they won quite a few awards, and all their captains came up and accepted the awards. Women's swim team, they won a few awards. Men's swim team actually won a few awards. Dylan Mulder, he was able to win himself an award as well. There were a lot of good nominees as well. Raven Lee, 46-point performance. Women's basketball upsetting Michigan, that was a nominee. So there were a lot of good nominees. And one of the guys for the men's swimming team, he actually won the best performance award. So that was a tight race. I believe it had to be between our Eagles on the women's side beating Michigan, and out of that gentleman taking home that win that he got for the men's swim team.
Sure.
So,
and I think another moment, too, that was, I know, in contention at least, for most exciting play, or most exciting performance was the football team that touched on that play against LSU.
Yes, against LSU. The one that you would say means nothing.
Well, it was I wouldn't say the play itself means nothing. I was at that game. I was in Baton Rouge, and that was as exciting a play as I think I've ever seen Eastern Michigan pull off.
Ever pull off, yeah. 2-point conversion, yeah. That was one of the plays. And when you look back and you look at it, it was kind of exciting seeing the moment of the game. Them being they were only down 6 at that present time after they converted the 2-point conversion. So yeah, it was exciting for the moment, what it was for what it was. So yes, I'd agree with Derek that it was exciting.
Absolutely. And I know I saw on Twitter last night the guys of the Echo made a performance, photo.
Yeah,
maybe the best dress of the night. I don't know. Maybe I'm biased a little bit because I used to work there, but
I had red and black attire, and Mr. Levy, he was able to put on some silver and black, and the sports editor Andrew, he was able to put on his gray flashy his suit. So yeah, everybody looked nice. Even Evan looked nice. So we represented the Echo quite well, and tickets. We were able to get tickets for the show. So yeah, it was quite the experience. Look, I'll probably go back next year. So.
Oh, absolutely. It sounds like it. I've never made it to an IPSI Awards. The last 2 years,
so
I've been at work. So unfortunately, I can't make it out there. But it seems like a pretty good time.
Yeah.
So we do have some time left, so we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
And talk about the EMU football spring game, which Derek was able to catch this weekend. So Derek, why don't you tell us what you saw?
Well, as we've mentioned before, it's difficult when a team plays against itself to know whether it's actually better or not.
Yeah.
But I will say this, you look for key things. You look for individual efforts, and you look for scheme changes, see how the defense is fitting into that new 4-2-5. And I will say this.
I'm interested to know. Yeah,
I definitely think that putting 4 guys on the line helps with the run, with stopping the run. And there were a couple key guys that did not play that Chris Creighton mentioned in the post-game press conference, that they're sort of being conservative with because they expect them to be ready come fall, but they don't want to risk re-injury or, various things right now. So we got to see a lot of other guys. Shaq Van had a few reps to start the game at running back, but I think we know that he's going to be the starting back, so we didn't see too much of him. Breck Turner got a lot of the reps actually throughout the spring game, and it looks like he's going to be a fine number 2. I think the main position battle is going to be between him and I believe Ian Erickson.
Okay.
And so those are the guys, and we saw some other players as well. Roback at quarterback looked about the same as usual.
Just a strong.
Good in the pocket, I think, but again, you notice trouble when he has to flee.
Yeah,
that's when you start to see decisions, some questionable decisions. We had almost an interception that could have been quite disastrous were it an actual game. Different things like that. Todd Porter made, the first time I witnessed him, he's the transfer.
Wake Forest.
Is it Wake Forest?
Yep.
And so he got some reps as well. And, he looked about the same, I thought, as Roback. So it should be interesting. I do think Roback will probably get the start. But there should be some interesting competition there, actually.
So he's knocking on the door.
I think so.
Okay. Did you see anything of James Pencil? Was he out there?
Pencil got a few reps as well. And I famously made the joke about getting ready to sharpen the number 2 pencil once we found out that Bell was going to be gone. And it does seem like he might be, he didn't see as much playing time as Porter or Roback, but he did get his reps in. And, I thought he looked okay. Second, third string guy. I don't necessarily see him competing for the starting spot, but you never know. You never know. Anyone can get hot at any time.
A couple summers ago, you had Rob Bolden who would come in, Brogan Roback, and Reggie Bell all fighting for that number 1 spot.
Exactly. So anyone can take it. Special teams did not look good from the kicking standpoint. Now, to be fair, it was a very windy day, very cold day, and you're kicking into the wind in a lot of situations. And there was a blocked point after, but again, it's hard to tell whether it's because defensively special teams really got up there and batted it down or because it was just that poor of a kick. And, so again, it's tough to tell.
Okay.
These things we'll find out pretty quickly once the season starts.
So my question is, being 4-2-5, that means there's 5 guys in secondary.
Yes.
How did they look?
Fortunately for Eastern Michigan, there is some depth, I think, in the secondary. There's a lot of guys who are now juniors, who are now, really ready to, I think, actually take on positions that maybe they weren't in the past, now that they've been thrown sort of to the wolves for a season. And, I think it's fine because McCaslin ran that 3-4, 3-3-5 kind of hybrid. So you've had 5 guys in the backfield in the past, as defensive back positions. So I think they'll be all right, actually.
Yep. And I think, we talked about last week where we thought the record was going this year. So, again, anything can happen between now and August, really, when things really get going. But as far as our time is, it's up. So thank you very much for watching, watching the two of us for the better part of the last 3 years. Again, we're moving on, but Jillian Seach will be hopefully taking over next year. So stay tuned for that. Great individual. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
You stay classy, Ypsilanti.
I'll be back.